Chicago? What do you say? Cubs gonna win today.
Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Pointless Exercise Podcast. It's Tuesday. We're going to talk about the Cubs with Praz and Oleg.
Hello, hello.
And guys, I don't know if you saw this, but Evan Longoria officially retired as a Ray.
Did he sign like a one-day contract with them?
Well, they let him walk out on that little minor league field they play on and waved everybody with a Rays jersey on. Did the Cubs give him a World Series ring? And if so, why would they have given him one?
Was it something to do with them?
Was he on the Giants
having a subpar season in 2014 that prompted Joe Madden to leave?
So if you remember back to the final day of the 2011 season.
Okay, I see where you're going.
The Rays had made a miraculous comeback and needed to beat the Yankees on the final day, and the Red Sox needed to lose, and the Rays would make the playoffs and not the Red Sox. Red Sox lost. Yankees and Rays went to extra innings. Evan Longoria had a walk-off home run. Red Sox fired Terry Francona. Theo Epstein quit, came to the Cubs, and started building the 2016 World Champs. It's all because if Nefi Perez saved the 1998 Cubs season by hitting a home run in Colorado, then Evan Longoria started the Cub dynasty.
Are we sure that we shouldn't really be giving credit to Sam Fold because he's the one who kickstarted that whole rally for the Rays, if I remember correctly?
He can have one too. We can give everybody. They gave Bartman a ring. They can give guys who actually did something one. So the Cubs, they lost 2 in a row for the first time since like the first week of May.
I was going to say the Japan games.
They lost 3 in a row, like May 7th, 8th, and 9th or something like that.
Oh, right. Last
they
two
hadn't
against
done
the
it
Giants,
again
20 against
until
the Mets.
These last 2 games. So the collapse has begun.
I think so.
Right?
It's the June swoon, just like our parents always told us about.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe.
They do. They face some really good pitching. They Tariq Skubal.
Oh yeah, Wheeler yesterday.
2, maybe, possibly. Well, 2 of the best 3 pitchers in baseball. Those 2.
Mackenzie Gore last week in DC.
Yes.
Yeah,
Flaherty's
Mackenzie Gore.
He's having a good year.
So is it a problem that they can't hit those guys, considering if they make the playoffs, that's kind of the caliber of pitcher
I don't know that
you have to hit?
I don't know. I don't think it's a problem because I don't know that you can. I don't know that that's how that works. Because first of all, the pitchers are going to be more tired. Like, it's a lot of innings and etc. But I also they're a good offense and they're I don't know.
Well, I mean, come October, it's going to be different weather-wise. That look back to April. That was probably the best month for the Cubs offense, especially in the games at Wrigley. So, I mean, if it's going to be similar weather to what they're playing in then, I mean, that could potentially affect those pitchers, especially if it's, especially if they were to face, say, like the Mets early in the playoffs the Mets did make the playoffs last year, so never mind. But I'm thinking like teams that maybe aren't exactly a regular fixture in the playoffs as of recent years.
But the problem with that is that the Cubs' opponents will not have the same difficulty.
Hitting
the Cubs don't have a 1. They might not have a 2.
Yeah. I mean,
so they're going to have to score more runs.
Yeah. I don't know that that's that. I'm not like if your original logic is true.
I'm not using logic. I'm just asking, should we be concerned?
I mean, first of all, it's June 10th, so let's see what happens. But I don't know. Like, I don't think that. Like, I don't know. I don't ask me to worry on June 10th. Like, this is so much fun that they're this good.
Yeah.
They're just good. They're a good team, right? I mean, even Colin Ray tonight, right? Or whenever anybody's listening to it, Colin Ray's last start is argues that it's shaky, but it's still pretty good against the Phillies. Like, they're fine. They're fine. Horton gave up 4 runs, but I don't think he's going to be in the playoff rotation. You hope Imanaga's back. You hope that they can make a deal for somebody.
Well, they're going to have to.
Yeah.
Right. And Jed is already talking about it, which is great. He should, because the issue they have pitching wise is, you don't know what's going to be left of Matt Boyd by the end of the year, and you don't know if you're going to have Horton at all.
Right. And Ben Brown's the other one, right? Like,
yeah. Who's looked really good his last 2 games, but he's never had to pitch this, as long as he's going to have to get to the end of the year. So,
yeah.
That's all right. They can bring Ryan Dempster out of retirement.
Oh, God, no.
Stop saying things.
Did you see his first pitch he threw? It was so good. He threw the ball in the stands. So he came in to throw out a first pitch, and he turned around and threw it into the bleachers. Everybody thought it was great. It's like, that was hilarious when Bill Murray did that 30 years ago.
Didn't Trevor Bauer do that after giving up a home run?
He did,
right.
Actually, yeah.
See, if Ryan Dempster had done that after walking 7 Dodger hitters in Game 1 of the 08 NLDS, just thrown into the stands, would have had a lot more respect for him then.
Yes, I would have. If what would have happened well, he's white, so it would have been fine. I was going to say, what would have happened to Trevor Bauer if he pitched for the Cardinals and he did that, considering they released Genesis Cabrera because he slammed the ball down into the mound when Ali Marmol tried to come out and take him out. The ball hit him in the face. He hit himself in the face with the ball, and they ended up getting rid of it.
Why? Did it damage the precious STL logo they carve into the back of the mound there?
Well, they're so classy. They're the classiest team in baseball. So over the weekend, Clayton Kershaw, who's probably in his final season,
right,
made then what would have been his final start at St. Louis. And so the Cardinals made a tribute video for him, and all it was the home run Matt Adams hit off of him in the playoffs over and over and over again.
Are you serious?
Which they thought was hilarious, and he was not amused.
Why would it? How? Why? That's at the least.
Apparently, they even made the announcement. Look to the video board to commemorate Clayton Kershaw's career, and it was just that over and over. They showed it like 4 or 5 times.
I mean, it's one thing if it was like,
wow,
if it wasn't the end of his career, right? Like if he was, 5 years ago, if they would have done it, fine.
Like, I mean, what would have been funny? Well, see, that's their problem. Like they're insecure assholes. They've always been.
Yeah.
They're not relevant anymore, and they don't like it.
Right.
What would have actually been kind of funny would have been, but this would have been, they would have had to been clever, would have been to have done a normal one, like showing him pitching well, and then at the end, finished it with Adams hitting it, and then put thanks for the memories, Clayton or something. But that's all they did. It was just run the same highlight over and over and over again. And they thought they were so funny. And I'm sure he got a big standing ovation from the Proud Boys there in the crowd, but they're just the worst.
They really are.
Just awful.
They really, really are.
I don't know about Genesis. He's really talented. He's on his 4th team. Yeah. And I think he pronounces it Genesis because you need to drink Hennessy when he's on it.
I was about to make that joke.
No? You didn't like how long that took to get to that?
As soon as you started saying it, I figured that's where you were going.
Is that how they spell it when it's served in Latin American countries? With the G?
G-E-N-N-E-S-Y.
Very good. Very good.
Hennessy. How else would they spell it?
Yeah, the silent S at the end.
He's been fine. Like, I don't...
I was actually glad I saw when he got released. I said, that's a guy that you should absolutely take a chance on. I really thought they were going to claim him when the Cardinals released him a couple of years ago. He went to Toronto and he pitched pretty well.
Yeah.
He's got a good arm. He's a lefty.
Used a lefty desperately all those years, too.
But why do teams keep releasing him? Like, is there something weird about, like, all right, he slams ball, like, fuck the Cardinals, but what's the...
I think,
man, If he wasn't good enough for the Cardinals, if the Cardinals had a problem with him, how's he going to survive in our rinky-dink organization? I think that's what they think.
I do think in the case of the Mets, it was kind of a similar situation to dearly departed Cub Tyson Miller last year when he was made available by the Mariners after a little bit of a roster crunch when someone was coming off the IL.
Oh,
He was kind of the last man on the pecking order, and, that's how he became a Cub.
Yeah, I mean, so he pitched 6 games for the Mets. 3.52 ERA, 7 hits in 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks. That's not spectacularly good or bad.
that's fine.
He pitched real well for the he pitched really well for Toronto when they picked him up in 23 from the Cardinals. 29 games, 2.66 ERA. He had a 5.06 ERA his final year with the Cardinals. It was pretty good for them until then. He's only 28.
He was just trying to get out. Okay.
And he's a lefty. Well,
Yeah.
I would sabotage myself to get released by the Cardinals.
Yeah, he's been good. Like, he's done everything they've asked him to do. He comes in whenever they want him. Like, it just doesn't, like, it's fine. Like, the bullpen's been, like, kind of, knock on wood, kind of stable. Like, they've been all right.
They've had the lowest ERA in baseball since like the 15th of May,
1st,
something
I
like that.
believe.
Really?
May 1st.
Yeah.
It's under 1.
Since May 1st?
For 1st to the 15th. Praz and I are in dispute.
All right.
He's given him 2 extra weeks. I don't remember the graphic. That's why I'm.
That's pretty good.
You know what? Okay, I think I actually remember. It was like right
8th?
after that crazy Diamondbacks game, whatever the next day after was. From that point on is when...
Wasn't it after? It has to be after Ryan Presley threw batting practice. Oh, was that the Diamondbacks?
I thought it was
What game was
No,
that?
that was the
Who was that
Giants.
The Giants.
Yeah.
Tough with 9 earned.
Yeah.
He gave up 9 runs. He only faced 8 batters.
Yeah.
Hey,
And only
what
8
was
were
it on the
earned.
Diamondbacks that matched him, though, in a start? Brandon Pfaadt, right?
Well, you can't match him in a start, though. I mean, you have to pitch an extra inning to do that. You got to have a placed runner to score, so you can give up more runs than you faced hitters.
True.
I forget who came in after him to finish the job, because like he left with the bases loaded, and whoever came in right after quickly let all 3 of those guys score. Too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
And Presley's been like has like 12 scoreless appearances in a row or something.
Oh, yeah. He's only allowed runs in maybe like 4 or 5 of his appearances.
Wait, didn't he allow a run yesterday?
No.
yesterday?
He came in and pitched a scoreless 7th.
Oh,
After Boyd was
gave
done?
up. Oh no, it was 2. Oh, okay, no, it was 2-1.
The bullpen didn't allow a run
Yeah.
until the Phillies wound up tying it and winning it.
Yeah,
in extras.
his second
That's
inning of
right.
work didn't go so well.
That's right. Yeah, you
Oh,
can't.
Presley gave up a run in Washington.
Okay.
Unearned run.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
He has not. You're right. He has not allowed an earned run since he gave the 8 and 0 innings pitched against the Giants. You don't see a lot of 14-5 extra inning losses.
No.
True.
That's weird. Yeah.
It's like that one. What was it? The one game from like the early '90s. I think it was Cubs Pirates that you talked about on. Remember this crap? Where like Andre Dawson hit a home run to give them like a 12-7 lead, and they still blew it.
The Cubs. So another stat Marquee keeps touting, which I chuckled at today.
Was it the most hits with runners in scoring position?
Well, that's a good one. The Nico, where he only drives in 1 run at a time.
Yeah.
Ever. Which is fine. It's better than none.
Right.
No, today they were touting the fact that the Cubs are 3rd in baseball with their outfield is 8 outs above average.
Okay.
The problem is they leave out the fact that Pete is 11 outs above average.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Happ is -2 and Tucker's -1.
Yeah, that's where, like, outs above average.
Maybe brag about your center fielder and leave the other 2 guys out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Especially when that part of his game is kind of like, a huge part of carrying his MVP case.
I mean, the other 2, like, everybody's been good. Like, I kind of don't understand. Maybe I just don't understand outs above average. Because they've been they've been good. Like Tucker's been good.
Tucker's had some real shaky moments out there. Like, I don't think he's a bad defensive right fielder, but he's had a few that are like, holy shit, buddy. But he really throws well. Happ gets credit for throwing, but every time Happ throws a guy, and I give him credit for this, it's always a short throw. When he threw the guy out, was it last night? That was like a 60-foot throw from where he was in left field to throw to second base. It's like, okay, I'm glad he threw him out, but the guy should not have been running. That's just terrible base running. You have to throw that guy out. You have to. It's like that game in Milwaukee where he threw out two guys at the plate. It was great, but they were both super shallow fly. But they should not have been. Like, the fact they were running on him was kind of a bad sign.
Right.
Like, we could score on this dipshit. They got him both times, which is good.
The one that fits this narrative the most to me is, remember last year, the game against the Mets that the Cubs won on the play at the plate where, like, Pete Alonso trying to score on the sac fly, and it was a cutoff throw too.
Yeah, to Nick Madrigal.
Yes,
the two weeniest darn guys on the team, and Pete is just got a piano on his back, and he's just. It's like you do realize they have to throw Pete Alonso out there, right? Like,
right.
It would be humiliating to have not thrown him out. I miss poor little Nick Madrigal. I hope he's doing okay in his.
No, you don't.
What did he do? He lost a leg.
You're a well-wisher in that you don't wish any specific harm.
Fell out of his crib and hurt himself. Is that what happened? Who didn't put the side rails up? Oh shit!
Side note, Andy. I know we're getting to this topic a little early. Do you happen to watch Rehearsals on HBO Max at all?
Yeah.
Okay, remember the episode where he's like, the adult-sized baby in the crib? That's what I'm picturing with Nick Madrigal, although probably not exactly adult-sized, but...
He did... So Nathan Fielder decided to do his own Sully biopic. So
right.
The whole season was about airplane safety.
Yep.
The whole season. And... So he developed this. They built like an airport terminal so they could do all this training and stuff in it. Well, one of the episodes he devoted just to Sully, and he did his life from birth.
Right.
So they have this enormous set built, and he's got a diaper on, and he still got the mustache. Baby Sully had the mustache, which was good. And they had this like huge animatronic mother with exposed breasts, and he was feeding off. He's got milk all over his face, so
milk's going everywhere. It was great.
So my wife walks downstairs to talk to me, and she sits down and she looks, and it's just starting, and she's like, "What are you? What you watch the dumbest stuff?" And she stormed out. That's all she saw.
Oh man,
yeah, it's pretty incredible.
That's funny. That's good. I gotta watch that. That sounds like it's right up
good
my
show.
alley.
So I'm getting trolled on the newsletter because Monday's article was about how good is Ian Happ these days. And he's not, is what I said. Mm-hmm. And he's now hit 3 home runs since I published the article.
That's exactly how it works. Yep.
Which is fine. I do whatever it takes.
So are you saying that people are leaving you messages?
I just saw that I got a comment on like I'm like, well, gee, I wonder what it said.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, you're gonna owe a lot of apologies.
No, I don't have to apologize. People should be thanking me. Yeah, man, you lit a fire under Happ.
Yeah, exactly.
The only people I ever see commenting are me and Fork. Was it somebody else?
Fork comments there a lot.
Yeah.
Most people read the newsletter on the phone.
Yeah.
And comments work a lot better if you're on your computer. Yeah. It's a flaw.
Oh, man. Do you remember who the third one was besides Happ and Swanson and Dansby? Who else did you?
I'm trying to think who else I made fun of, or basically I threw down a gauntlet and they immediately came out of it. It's a talent that I have.
Was it Busch?
No, but I was gonna. I'm thinking about writing a thing about Busch. About what I need to figure out is how uncommon this is. Almost all of his production has come in like 2 chunks of games all season.
Right.
Like he had like a 14 game chunk in May where he drove in like 20 runs.
Yeah.
And now he's got the one he's on now is got like 9. So in all the other games, he's hit like 1 homer and driven in like 7 runs.
Well, last year was the same thing, but hit like 6 home runs in like 5 games.
And what happens is you all of a sudden look up and his OPS is like 900. And you're like, really? How did that happen? Well, that's how it happened because, he does. Let's hope. Maybe that's how they win the World Series. He gets hot in the playoffs and he just goes crazy for 3 series in a row.
Exactly. So we need him to cool off now. Save it all for October.
He's got it.
Listen, Michael Busch, we know you're a listener of this podcast, all right? There's 3 first basemen that are going to make the All-Star game ahead of you. It's going to be Pete Alonso, it's going to be Freddie Freeman, and it's going to be the hometown guy, Matt Olson. You have no chance of making it. Just cool off and save it for October.
Somebody's going to get it. I think it's the same thing with Seiya, right? Like you got Schwarber and Ohtani. It'll be hard to.
Well, Schwarber struck out twice tonight. That should be enough. Colin Ray struck him out twice. That should be enough to keep you off the All-Star team.
Yes, that is an excellent point.
Heck yeah.
Marquee actually did something funny tonight. There's a bar in Iowa in the city the town that Ray is from. Where if you go to this bar when he pitches, every time he strikes somebody out, everybody they have a free round of beers.
Oh, cool.
In his last start, he pitched 5 innings, but he didn't strike anybody out. And so he got a bunch of nasty text messages. Well, today, when he struck the first guy out, Marquee actually showed like the bar. And people
really?
I was like, oh my God, they actually did something. Somebody got off their ass and had somebody point an iPhone at the bar and send them the thing. So.
Oh man,
that's pretty good.
That's fun. Credit where credit's due, right? That's good.
Every once in a while, they get something right. They will when they leave Philly, they're going to play Pittsburgh for 4 games, and they will get Paul Skeens.
Of course, unavoidable.
For 4 games, it's hard to skip a start. It's hard to.
Well, that's true for 4 games.
Once in a while, it happens.
Haven't they already beaten him once this year?
Yeah, I was going to say, like we were talking about it earlier, and I was trying
to
beat
him. Him at Wrigley though has kind of been a different animal. Like, didn't he take like a no-hitter into the 7th last year? His first start there.
Yeah. Did he win that one too, though? I know they won his debut, his big league debut in Pittsburgh against the Cubs. Is notable for 2 things. Number one, Miles Mastrobuoni got the first and second hits off of Paul Skeens.
Yes.
Skeens left with like a 7-2 lead, and it was gone because the guys who came in after him walked. I gotta look this up. How many they walked? Didn't the Cubs get like 5 bases loaded walks?
Yep.
5
is incredible. I gotta look now. The number was to defy belief. The Cubs ended up winning 10-9. He left.
No, the Cubs lost. The Cubs lost that game.
Oh, they did lose 10-9.
They took the lead, but they lost it later.
Oh, I see that now. All right. Well, he didn't get the win. Here we go. In the 5th, Paul Skeens started the inning. He gave up a double to Mike Tauchman, and then a single to Seiya, and Tauchman stayed at second base. It was a single to shortstop, so it didn't leave the infield. Then Kyle Nicholas came in. He struck out Cody Bellinger, and he struck out Christopher Morel. He's in good shape. Then he hits Ian Happ to load the bases. Then he walks Nico Horner, scores a run. Then he walks Michael Busch, scores a run. Then he walks Miles Mastrobuoni, score a run. Josh Fleming comes in to pitch for him. He walks Yan Gomes. He gets tired of walking everybody, so then he gives up a single to Tauchman. They take him out. Colin Holderman comes in. He walks Seiya to score a run, and then he walks Cody Bellinger to score a run. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases loaded walks by 3 pitchers.
That's incredible. It must have been some kind of injury to Josh Fleming there because he only faced 2 hitters. But it's not like, he or the guys before him were doing that good of a job of getting anyone out.
Yeah, the Cubs, that put the Cubs up 8-6, and then
next inning, you'll see it.
Oh, it happened right away.
Yep.
Let's see. Keegan's in. He gives up a 3-run homer to Yasmani Grandal, and then McCutcheon adds another run just for the hell of it.
I now remember I was in Denver. I had flown into Denver, and the time that I went to get the car, I rented from Turo, and so from the time I got the car and I got in the car, all those walks happened.
Yeah. I remember, like, I want to say I actually went to a White Sox game that night, and I was on my way there listening to the call on the radio and just thinking to myself, like, every time Paul Skeens threw a pitch in that game, it was like it was unlike any other crowd I had ever heard, because it was like it would be a strike and the crowd would get like nuts for it. It almost felt like you were watching a football game after like a pass was completed. Anytime Paul Skeens threw a strike in it.
I mean, they got excited for it. Like,
well, I mean, just like more than just like what you would normally cheer.
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't. I feel like Pryor's. Like, I don't remember like necessarily Pryor's debut, but I feel like there was a lot of excitement and just like built up energy.
True. Also a Cubs Pirates game.
Was it really?
Yep.
Yep.
Man, you should be able to remember this crap.
Is Skeens really that good? This is all he leads in National League in.
Yeah, okay.
WAR, pitcher WAR, 3.6. Starts, innings pitched. WHIP, lowest hits per 9 innings. Lowest homers per 9 innings. That's all.
Doesn't even have the lowest ERA. He's a fraud.
He's 4-6. So how good could he be?
No, whoa.
He didn't even have a winning record.
I can't wait till they turn him.
4-6 with a 1.88 ERA. Jesus, Pirates. Honestly, they should take him in the, they have that best interest of baseball clause that the commissioner can use. He should just take Skeens away and say, no, you can't have him. If you won't spend a dime to get an offense while you've got this guy, we're just taking him now. And we're giving him to a random team, the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean,
the Cubs.
You have to keep him in the division, right? You have to give him to a team.
Well, you want to do that to punish the Pirates.
Right.
Now they get to see him more. You got to give him to the Cubs.
But they should make it be contingent on the Cubs giving Kyle Tucker an extension.
There you go.
So basically, so then if you're Tom Ricketts, you're like, okay, we'll pay Skeens nothing for the next 4 years, and we'll have to pay Kyle Tucker $500 million for the next 8. No.
Yeah.
No.
we can't afford that. Like, what?
No.
Yeah, it's the one thing I promised myself I wouldn't pay for any Cubs games this year. Now I have to pay for one.
Got to support the team.
Guess that's not true. I'm going to the game Thursday.
Oh, you poor thing.
So
Skeens is good. It's Yamamoto. I know he shit the bed last time out, but he's been just as good.
And then Jameson Taillon.
Yeah.
You guys want to make a case Jameson Taillon start the All-Star game?
Go for it.
It's you. I know that you're joking when you say it, but he's been good.
He has.
6-3, 3.54 ERA. He leads the league in a category.
I know exactly what category that is. Not a good
home runs
one.
allowed.
Oh, yeah.
16. He only gave up 21 last year. He's already given up 16.
Yeah.
He gave up 7 in that weird 7 solo homers over 2 games.
This is going to sound weird because obviously he's not ever going to be a contender for the Cy Young like this person I'm about to bring up. But he's having a somewhat similar season to like what John Lester did in 2016. Because if you remember, like every game that he'd allow a run in, it would always just be 1 solo home run. I think by the end of the year, he maybe gave up the most home runs or like was damn near towards the top of it. But little observation about Taillon's year.
I think I do.
Do you have a guess in how many strikeouts Jameson Taillon has in 76 innings?
54.
67.
58. Yeah, so maybe did I lead the witnesses by?
Yeah, kind of, but I mean,
And you
how
think
else
that sounds really, really low, but it's 6.8 strikeouts per nine, which is exactly what he did last year. But before then, he had been in the 8s or the high 7s his entire career.
What's his? Oh, has he really up until last year?
Yeah.
Oh, what's his ground ball rate? Do you see that?
Well, now you gotta go look at a different thing.
I got it. I'm on.
It's got to be good.
Oh, there it is.
I mean, this is not a bad defense to let teams hit the ball at.
Oh, it's not. It's not good.
No.
It's 36%. 3.54 ERA. Oh yeah, he's way out pitching his FIP. Oh, all right.
Yeah, there are some troubling, like, the pitching staff feels like a house of cards to me.
It does a little bit.
Let's hope they can,
Like a Ben Brown figured it out. He's 2 starts in a row. He's been good, right?
Well, 1 start and 1 relief appearance.
One bulk inning relief appearance.
They did the weird opener thing and it worked.
Yeah,
so.
That's fine.
Oh, I almost missed a double by the carjacker to give the Cubs an extra run.
I think Craig Counsell, and this is kind of part of it. Like he's really kind of earning his paycheck, managing the bullpen and managing everything. Because he knows just when to give the starter an extra inning. He seems to it's not. I don't know that they're getting hurt. I know that the starters are giving up runs all that often when you can say, oh, he went 1 inning too long, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess you could say, and you're right. I mean, we don't know what the pitching staff's going to look like at the end of the year. But let's say that it's similar to this. If the bullpen, even though it's very matchup dependent, pitches like this, you can get away with your not having to push your starters. I mean, that's basically what the Indians did the Guardians did last year.
Everybody does it. The Dodgers do it every year.
Yeah.
Hell, Craig did it in Milwaukee. Barely worked.
Yeah, but they never won anything. So.
You're right. But yeah, and that's kind of what the playoffs are, right? Like it's just sort of the way it is. And that's okay, because that's how the regular season is. And so part of it is, and I'm sure that as the months go by, and, Assad, if he comes back, like there'll be opportunities, I feel like, to rest some guys here and there as the season, progresses.
Well,
maybe you option on Brown
when you add Chris Sale and Jacob deGrom at the trade deadline.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Chris Sale just signed an extension, right?
No. He's got 1 year left.
Oh, is that right?
He's signed for next year, and the Red Sox are paying a big chunk of it. So if he really gets traded, and the Braves, at least for now, are saying, "Oh, we're not going to sell anybody," but they're in 4th place. They can barely see first place with a telescope.
Right.
He's going to be worth a lot because you're not going to have to pay. The risk you would take on with getting Chris Sale and just worried he gets hurt in year 2, you're not going to have to pay him very much in year 2. Yeah. So it kind of takes the risk and kind of throws it out the window.
Yep.
deGrom has a no trade and 2 more years of $38 million left, so he's probably not going to.
But he's so good.
I'm not even sure how deGrom has done this year. Let me see.
Very well.
Yeah, he's been great. He just threw a 2.
I know the Rangers in general have sucked.
Yeah. Bad. Yeah.
Andy had to go up against them in the fantasy league. Was it a couple of weeks ago? When did we play? It wasn't last.
My team would have lit him up. I was dependent on actual other major league teams doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jameson Taillon's baseball savant page is very odd. Kind of like him. Like his fastball velocity is in the 21st percentile.
Sure.
But the average exit velocity, people don't hit the ball hard against it.
Yeah.
It's 86th.
Right? Yeah.
His strikeout rate is bad.
Yeah.
Which we determined. But his walk rate, he's 92nd percentile. He doesn't walk anybody.
Right. It's kind of how Kyle Hendricks was. He just gave up soft contact. He didn't really strike out many guys. And he just.
The thing that would concern you, and it's the same concern you with Shota, is if Wrigley plays more like normal in the summer.
Yeah. Right.
Because he's only given up, you're right when we're talking about his ground ball rate. He's given up 63% line drives or fly balls, which has worked so far because it's been hard to hit the ball out of that plate.
Yeah. Remember that being a preseason concern of mine, just like the whole issue of Jed bringing up, how poorly of a hitting environment Wrigley was last year and how it would, was the reason for all the Cubs' offensive woes.
Right, but hold on. But that's the other side of it, right? Is if Wrigley plays like a hitter's park in the summer, the Cubs have the offense to out-hit their pitching.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, they have a good enough offense that you're like when they play the Rockies and the weather sucked.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Because the Rockies were going to have a hard time scoring runs even if the wind's blowing out.
Right.
The Cubs wouldn't have.
But that's okay. I mean,
but it evens things out. When you have a good offense at Wrigley, you don't care the wind blows out because you're going to outscore whoever. Right. We've had poor offensive teams where it's like, oh, it'd be kind of nice if the wind would howl in today. We can scratch one across.
But yeah, the Cubs have a good offense, and the Cubs will be like, I'm not. The playoffs are a different story, and I get your concerns about the playoffs, but.
Well, I only bring it up, like I feel like they should go get. And it seems like a little thing, but if Craig is going to refuse to use Michael Busch against lefties, they've got to get a better right-handed bat for the bench than Justin Turner.
Okay.
Right.
Like, how much does that cost? You probably should find a right-handed hitting outfielder because going along with 4 outfielders kind of seems a little, I mean, I know Vidal can play the outfield. Sure. That's just what we want to see is Vidal Brujan wandering around the outfield.
Yeah, exactly. What I would also say to that too is like if our beloved Moises Ballesteros is someone who is on the trade block, at that point you basically have to commit to playing Michael Busch every day at that point because there is no backup plan for him should he regress.
They need to go out and get Luis Robert as their 5th outfielder.
Yep, this will be
he'll play about
the
5
4th
games for them. Yeah,
whatever it takes.
Nobody's like. There's so few teams who are definitely out of it. And the Marlins, the White Sox, and the Rockies don't really have anyone who you'd want.
Yeah. I mean, Dave and I talked about this last week. The problem is the teams that are out of it can't pitch. It's not like and so it's not like opening up all these. That's why everybody's so excited that maybe the Braves are going to fall. Because at least there's.
In the case of the White Sox, the one pitcher you'd really want from them is Shane Smith, but they're not trading him because he's a young guy. So,
besides, you already got Chris Flexen.
Yeah, true.
You got their second best pitcher from last year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Keller was there for like a week, right?
Yep.
Keller's been a nice find, huh? Knock on wood. What's the matter? You look perplexed. Are you perplexed at the fact that I said that Keller's been fine?
No, I'm perplexed at the fact. People, I'm sure, love listening to the podcast and have me comment on something that happened in the game. But Kyle Tucker slid into 3rd, and now he's not right.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
He got up under his own power, though.
Yeah. I'm sure it's
a little bit of an awkward slide. Slid like right into Alec Boehm's knee there.
Yeah, he did. Little knee to the neck. That's nothing. That'll get you
live.
Just get you loosened up.
Kyle Tucker's neck is just slightly smaller than
his bat.
Kyle's got a big neck.
We're gonna say that's what I mean. It's only slightly smaller than his bat is.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say what.
Well, yeah. So like the Rockies are out of it. They have nothing to trade.
Right.
Unless Germán Marquez figures it out, right? I mean, he's coming off a.
I mean, I don't know. Is there anyone?
Pittsburgh's out of it. They're not. Well, maybe they will. Maybe. I mean, I'm trading Skeens, but maybe they'll trade somebody. I don't know.
Is there anyone in the Rockies though that like maybe if you look at their like road stats, he has like a better FIP than his ERA is, and that might translate better with a better defense behind him.
I'm sure anybody the Cubs get, they could just put in the pitch lab and turn them into.
Yeah, it's true.
It'll be like that.
Just give them to Tommy Hotovy and woo, look out. Well, I don't know. Antonio Senzatella has given up 101 hits in 62 innings. I think maybe there's a tweak there. You could get him.
A tweak. You only get
14. That guy.
Listen to this. Kyle Freeland, 12 hits per 9 innings. Germán Marquez, 12 hits per 9 innings. Senzatella, 14.7.
Yikes.
Oh, I think I can see why they win 12 games.
Lordy.
I remember Kyle Freeland shutting the Cubs down in a wild card game.
Yeah, I'd like to forget that game. That was a painful memory.
He was good that year. Was he ever good any other year? So 2018, 17-7, 2.85. He followed it up the next year by going 3-11 with a 6.73. I don't think.
I mean, had a few respectable years in between with the ERAs in the 4s.
Yeah, especially when you have Coors factor that in.
Cubs are going to wind up with Zach Eflin, aren't they? Which would be fine by me, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, you're going to get a 3 at best, right? I mean, anybody trading 1 or a 2.
Right.
Well, I mean, at some point, it just becomes about, you just need relatively quality innings. Right? Because you just need quality. And even leading, the playoffs might be a little bit different where you have to get outs, but at some point you just need to kind of cover innings. Because, like to your point, Horton ain't going that far. You'll see if Boyd makes it past 120 innings, we'll all count it as a miracle.
Are we like certainly out on Sandy Alcantara at this point with how bad he's been this year?
I mean, do you take what do you give up? So here's if you knew they could go out and get 2 pitchers, maybe you take a chance on. There's something there, but they can't be the thing that you rely on. If you had Steele and Imanaga and everything was fine. Maybe I could argue go get Alcantara, and maybe that gives you. Maybe you find something out and he turns it around. But you need good innings from someone.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I think some smart team. I think. I don't know. Maybe the Marlins are smart enough to just, if they're not going to get any decent offers for him, maybe they just keep him and they worry about it again next year. It feels like this is not that uncommon with Tommy John guys that the year after they can't quite get it put together, but somebody as good as him might be good next year. So if they sell him for pennies on the dollar, I mean, you could get him now with the idea being, look, we still got to find somebody for this, a more reliable pitcher for the playoffs, but we want Sandy we want to control him. So I can see that.
Here's the other side of that, and I'm not a team trading for him now needs him for the playoffs, and so there's going to be very few teams who are going to be willing to give up anything of value for him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're sitting at the trade deadline and they're hell bent on trading him, because he's been bad, nobody's willing to give anything up for him. It might be a hell of a lot cheaper time right then than it would be to wait till the offseason when all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, now we get we'll work with him and whatever. And
but then
you make the trade and you disappoint your fans because it's like, well, shit, he's not going to help us this year.
Yeah.
But you get players when they're available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of like the whole, what was the theory maybe a year or two ago of now that, as the Angels were kind of on their way down, that some contending team, and the Cubs who are in this mix too, should consider trading for Mike Trout. I mean, thank God they didn't, because he's kind of fallen off a cliff, but you were kind of betting on him, not playing for the rest of that year, but coming back strong the next.
Yeah, but a Trout trade was never going to happen because he makes $35 million a year forever. And if Artie Moreno was going to trade him, they weren't going to eat any of that salary. Mm-hmm. I mean, the way that becomes attractive, because I'm sure, he also has a no trade. Doesn't want to seem to leave. I think the one place he would go would be the Phillies.
Yeah.
But the Phillies only make that deal if the Angels eat a huge chunk of that contract. And I don't think the Angels intend to eat any of it. I just think he's never going to leave.
And
you never know. They're one of the few teams that don't have a cheap owner.
No, I don't think Artie wants to trade Trout.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That's his,
that's his guy.
Yeah. And so in order to do it, you'd have to pay full boat to get him. Yes. And at this stage of his career, that's insane. You can't be paying him $35 million a year. He's good when he plays, but he doesn't play. He comes off the injured list again and hits a ball out of Fenway, and it's like homers in 3 of his first 5 games. But all he can do right now is DH. He can't run anymore, and he'll stay hot for a while, and then he'll cool off, and he'll realize because he's hurt again, and then he'll go back on the injured list.
He's still worth more to the Angels than he would be to anyone else.
Yeah.
And so be it.
So a team that tried to do this last year, they made a trade for now, and they made a trade for the future with the Orioles. When they traded, it looks like a disaster. When they traded, who else did they trade other than Stowers?
Oh, for Trevor
Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers. They traded for Trevor Rogers.
Rogers
was a guy who was he's always been all upside, and they're like, we'll get this guy in our franchise and we'll get him turned around. And they gave him he made 4 starts for them.
Yeah.
And was terrible. And he's been healthy enough to make 1 start so far this year.
He's been in the bullpen, right? I feel like he's been
in the minors. He's pitched 6 innings for the Orioles.
Oh. Yeah.
Things aren't going well there.
Well, he had an amazing rookie year. Then he got hurt, and even that rookie year was, if I remember right, was kind of marred by some really troubling underlying stats. Anyway, like a lot of walks. He struck out guys, but it just wasn't.
He's an arm that teams have always drooled over.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made 6 starts in Norfolk earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
He was 0-3 with a 5.61 ERA, gave up 34 hits in 25 innings. But in his 1 start with the Orioles, 6 shutout innings, only gave up 2 hits.
Yeah.
He's fixed. Cubs should trade for
him. When was that start? Was it recently?
Right, April.
I will say this. Like, Upland hasn't been that good.
May 24th.
So
I don't know what he's been doing since, but nothing.
Like Zach Eflin would be a good get. You know who I would take from the Pirates if you need just an extra right-handed bat, and maybe I'm just saying the name, but I wouldn't mind having Andrew McCutchen on the Cubs. But he's so cool.
I think all these 1-year deals he keeps signing with Pittsburgh are all with the not an official no trade clause, but kind of a handshake agreement.
No, I get what you're probably right. You're probably right. But if you're looking for that 5th extra outfielder, right-handed bat, he's got a really good eye. He can still hit. I mean, he's still all right. He's not all right. He's not good, but.
Do you remember Andrew McCutchen on the 2018 Giants?
Vaguely.
He was on the Giants.
I remember
traded to the Yankees for the end of that year.
That's it.
Yeah, I remember him going to the Yankees and the whole thing with him having to cut his dreads and shave the beard and everything.
He was pretty good. He wasn't a good guy. He played in the playoffs for them. He struggled. And then went
for the Yankees?
Then he went to Philly forever and then came back to the Pirates.
Yeah.
Oh, he got traded from the Pirates to the Giants for Kyle Crick and Brian Reynolds.
From the Pirates to the
Pirates won that trade.
Pirates haven't done anything with Brian Reynolds, but pretty good value.
Well, Brian Reynolds has been bad this year. He's been all right otherwise. But he's been bad this year. There'll be more teams who fall out of it. It is good that Jet's talking about getting a starter. Sorry, I'm back on the Cubs getting a starter, trying to think of someone.
Wasn't it funny? Why do teams ever, if you were a general manager, would you ever stop trying to find
pitching
guys? Yeah.
No.
So they're like, oh, Jed's being super aggressive. He's trying now. It's like, you should be trying. I know it's unlikely that you're going to make a deal, but shouldn't you always be trying to find people?
Yeah.
That's the job. What else are you doing?
Is it Mel Kiper who says you should draft a quarterback every draft? Somebody says that. I remember.
Ryan Pace said he was going to do that, and he only ever drafted Mitch.
What about Bajent was a UDFA? Huh?
Well, and that was after Pace.
Was it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I guess he's only in his 3rd.
We're going to draft quarterback every year. Well, at least one ever.
The other thing is
maybe drafted David Fales.
Why they say that about goalies in the NHL, right, Praz? Draft a goalie every year?
That's a question you should probably ask, someone who's deeper into the hockey world, because I don't really follow it as far as like the draft goes.
So the crazy stat about the Orioles that I heard today on when I continued to listen then to the roundtable. Sam Miller brought it. We're talking about the Orioles and how they're no pitching has sabotaged their season. Plus the fact that the generational group of hitters is now becoming far more hit and miss than they thought they were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But he had the guys guess. He's like, okay, he said if you take Mike Elias has now been making drafts there for it has to be 13 years, right? Because he says they've made 36 picks, 12. They've made 36 picks in the first 3 rounds now since he came over as the GM. And they're like, so how many pitchers do you think he's drafted out of those 36? And they're like, well, what's a normal number? Like 18, 20. Yeah. And he probably should be more aggressive. The real number, just everybody's like, what?
Is it 3 than 10? 3? You're kidding. Wow.
And never a first rounder.
I'm trying to think like
they take position. They draft plenty of pitchers, but they don't do it till after the 4th round or later. That's just their.
Do they have any homegrown pitchers who are contributing?
No, that's why. And I don't know if that was an Astros theory too, because that's where he came up. Because the Astros hit on a lot of, although Mark Appel, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Appel, Forrest Whitley. The Astros had a few guys. Well, I don't know if I don't know.
But I just wonder, this may be to the extreme, but I'm trying to think, because I read that book about winning fixes everything. And about, the Astros had some very strong, opinions. I think they were very hitter heavy early in drafts, but not to this. This is a ridiculous extreme.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I mean, it was always Theo Epstein's thing, right? Like, he never really drafted pitching either.
I mean, he drafted it, but didn't always pan out. Like, wasn't my
they
buddy,
wasted a lot of
Rob Zastryzny, second round pick after Chris Bryant, I want to say.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Rob Zastryzny, 2013 second round pick.
He was a second round pick?
Yep.
Holy crap.
I mean, the Theo had the theory, and it largely bore out, right? That if you have a relatively high first round pick, take the best available college hitter.
Yeah. Yes.
And they hit on, well, they kind of stopped hitting on those guys. And it's funny because the first guy they picked didn't fit that. That was Albert Almora, who didn't go to college.
Right. But Almora was like the 10th or 11th pick, though, wasn't he?
6th, I think.
6th pick, yep.
No, really?
Yeah, it was bad. I don't even.
Yeah, don't take a look at who was drafted after him. I know Andy will often bring it up that Corey Seager was too tall to play shortstop.
Well,
so
the reason I bring that up is that literally was it was one or the other. They were either going to take Almora or Seager, and they took Almora.
Wow.
I mean, he did hit. He hit on Bryant, Schwarber.
Well, yeah, he was pretty good.
Ian Happ.
At his job. Yeah.
I'm trying to trigger Andy. It's not working.
So, right after Albert, Max Fried, Mark Appel, round 2.
Well, I wasn't going to sign.
No, round 1. That's right. Didn't sign, went back in the draft, got the Cubs, Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
Andrew Heaney, Addison Russell. The big one that sticks out is the 18th pick, Corey Seager, who apparently was plan B. But he hasn't done that much. He's only been World Series MVP twice. So,
yeah.
That's no big deal. Cubs got one of those.
Ha! They do have one of those.
Still remember one of my underrated memories from the celebration after they won was Zobrist getting the keys to that Camaro and being super excited. Nobody's ever I remember the year before. Or had to be 2 years before, right? Yeah, 2 years before when the Giants won, and the guy Madison Bumgarner got a truck, and remember the guy from Ford couldn't talk. He couldn't get his spiel out, and everybody's just staring at him. He's trying.
Yes,
he had 3 sentences to say.
Tripping over every word. Yeah,
and Bumgarner's just just give me the fucking truck. Just. I mean, Ben got in the car. It stopped raining by then. He's in the car. He's pretending he's driving it. It's Jesus. Don't you have a car? I mean, did she give all the money to the pastor already and you didn't know it?
That's mean.
Who was it one year that like declined it because he couldn't drive stick shift, I think, or like gave it away? I don't know.
I know somebody, like if you pick a rookie, they might turn it out because they don't want to pay the taxes on it. I had a friend who won a truck on The Price is Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And he couldn't take it because you have to pay the taxes right up front, and he couldn't afford it. So he had to he got a very small cash prize instead because he couldn't pay the taxes on it.
Oh, you can't even sell the truck for, I don't know.
No. He said it wasn't going to be worth because everybody wanted, after his episode aired, then everybody wanted to see the truck. And he's like, well, it's in California. Somebody probably won it the next week because I couldn't take it. Well,
Pete Armstrong's a little bit of a slump. Well, I guess he hit those 2 home runs.
Whatever. They're up 4. Who cares?
I'm just saying, man.
He's still the 100th percentile for fielding value.
800th?
The 100th.
Oh.
He is the 100th percentile. He's in the 99th for base running.
Yeah.
And the 91st for batting.
Man, that catch that Oakland guy made yesterday, though.
Oh, yeah. They climbed the wall.
So I was
like, I must have watched that like 24 times. Like, I'm not even.
Pete is going to climb up the ivy and rob one from the basket later this year.
It's not. It doesn't have to be a contest all the time. Like both, they can both be good. It's okay.
Be the first to ever do it.
Yeah, but oh man,
they were somewhere on the interwebs today. Somebody had the 5 because of that catch. They showed like their 5 favorite home run robbing catches, and one of them was the 2000. What year was that All-Star game? 2? In Milwaukee? 1?
Torrey Hunter on Bonds.
So where we were sitting in right field, we were in the upper bleachers because our regular seats in right field had been given over to the media. They had put tables up, so they moved us up. We still got tickets, but they moved us up.
Auxiliary media box, yeah.
And so Bonds hits the ball in the air, and Torrey is running at us basically on that angle. And I told my buddy Charlie, who I was there with, I said, Torrey's going to catch this. And he's like, no way. And we just watched, and it was amazing. His waist got above that wall to catch the ball. It was ridiculous. And then Bonds ran out because that was the end of the inning. And so Bonds ran out to the outfield and picked Torrey up. Like grabbed him by the waist and picked him up. And Barry's such a dick that nobody knew if he was like trying to be fun or if he was mad. He was trying to he was like, oh, he was, and I don't even think Torrey knew how to take it at first. Like, I think I'm being attacked by Barry Bonds.
That was full Belko Barry too.
Oh God, that home run derby the night before was the steroid Olympics. It was amazing.
Sammy hitting him out.
They had those glass panels open for the first part of the home run derby. That rained. They closed it, and Sammy was hitting balls out in the parking lot. He was hitting them through the windows into the parking lot.
My Christ!
Was Talkman's catch against the Cardinals number 1?
Or I think the Leonis Martin one that knocked Cardinals out of the playoff position the day after the Cubs clinched in 2017. That should have been on that one, even though he only had to jump he barely had to get his glove above the wall, but he caught it. Oh,
if it happens against the Cardinals, then it should be number 1.
The Talkman one was pretty amazing. It was a nice play.
Oh man.
It's great because have you ever heard the Chip Carey call of it? It's totally worth it.
Does he think it's a home run for like 5 minutes? Home run! The Cardinals win! Woo! Why is everybody running out the field? Oh, they're not celebrating. Chip, he caught it.
He is out.
What?
Safe,
out. What? Oh. The Chipper. Well, the Cardinals fans deserve him.
I'm just going to say this. I would rather listen to Chip Carey than Zach Saban.
I would I said I wouldn't rather. I can't say I'd rather listen to him. I think Alex Cohen is worse than Chip.
Than Zaidman? Oh, than Chipper?
Yeah, I think he's worse than Chip. He's worse than Zaidman too. He's terrible. And now he does this new thing where, because he filled in, this was very odd. This was the announcer rotation in Detroit. So the Friday game was on Apple TV. So Marquee didn't have to do the game. Saturday, there's Boog. Sunday, there's Alex Cohen. Why did Boog go for one day? Because he had to go to a Sunday night game.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I was glad he was there, but I was like, oh, maybe he's not he doesn't always do the Sunday night games sometimes. I'm like, oh, maybe he's not going to be, and then he was there. But Cohen now does this thing where he talks in these really short, incomplete sentences. It's like, oh, is this the new thing? Why is this? The only redeeming thing is how much he annoys JD. And like, he'll ask JD these questions, and JD's always like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he was saying like, he was asking about Shaw, and JD's like, I don't know. We really haven't, we haven't seen that much of him yet. Like, I don't want to engage. Just leave me out of it.
Just say what you got to say. I'll tell a story once in a while.
I notice he does that sometimes to Boog.
Yeah.
But Boog, it's like a joke when he does it to Boog. Okay. Like, Boog will get asked this big, long wind-up, and then JD will be like, I don't know. Oh. You can tell he's doing it to be funny. He's not doing it to be funny with Alex. He's like either not paying attention or just doesn't want to do it. He's like, oh, geez, leave me alone.
Zaidman, what I've realized with Zach is he tells you what happened in the play, but like in the wrong order.
Yeah.
Like it's like you don't know what happened in the play until the end of whatever he's saying. Yeah. It's just so awkward and weird, and it's like it's I don't like Zaidman's up there with Joniak as far as not telling you what's going on.
Yeah. Joniak, though, he's in a class by himself. Just because of the stuff he omits.
Yeah. Like the
score, the yard line, the down. It's unbelievable. Or the number of times he'll be like especially on a running play. Oh, there's a pitch out to Swift, and he runs the sidelines, and he's out right there. We don't know where right there is, Jeff.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's right. You got to tell us. There's stripes on the field for a reason. You're going to have to learn to count up to 50 and then back down from 50. That's all you have to do. Can you learn that one set of numbers, forwards and backwards, and then you'd be all set? He's been doing it forever. He's been doing it since like 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah, things you really appreciate with Pat, because I've been doing it when Cohen's on. Sometimes I turn the radio call on. That was one of the nice things about the Apple TV game was you could just like MLB.TV where you could just switch the it was kind of hidden under languages.
Yeah.
But
it was a little weird, but yes.
That's why I said I don't know what language they think Ron is speaking. Maybe that's why it's under languages. I think it's maybe Pig Latin. We don't know what this guy is saying. When you watch it synced up properly, how good Pat is at not like anticipating, not telling you what he thinks is going to happen.
Yes.
But actually letting it happen. And then if something unexpected happens, Pat is always on top of it. Whereas bad announcers try to almost predict what's going on. And then something happens and now they get all confused and you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Like the only time that it gets annoying with Pat is when it's like a home run that's barely a home run. Because then you're sort of waiting along with him, but it also adds to the suspense a little bit. It's kind of cool. If I'm listening to the game, walking the dog, but he's like, he's as surprised that it's a home run as like other people. Yeah. Like and that's pretty cool. But it's also like it gets like I'm like
it is pretty cool when you get the moment of like, he goes, this one's got a chance. You hear the crowd cheer when it goes out.
Yeah,
gone.
Yeah. The ones, yes. Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun listening to that. The Wrigley Field calls.
I always think whenever I talk about announcers, I always think of Vin Scully got interviewed one time, and he goes, like somebody was asking, like, you do a lot of different sports. Like he did NFL and CBS for a long time. He did golf. He did all kinds of stuff. And they're like, how different is it? He goes, it's not. You're just telling people where the ball is. That's your whole job. If you tell people where the ball is, then they know they can follow along. They know what's happening. If you try to get cute, then on the radio, they don't know what's going on. And I was thinking that's what Joniak is. We don't know where the ball is.
That's it. That's holy shit. That's a really good point. If I ever broadcast a sporting event, I'm going to remember that.
Just remember that one thing.
That's good.
And Vin always claimed that he was doing a Fordham football game when he started announcing for the Dodgers when he was like 20 or something. So like in the teens.
They're still at Ebbets.
And he was doing a Fordham football game, and there was no press box, so he was actually sitting like on top of the grandstand.
Oh,
and it was pouring rain. It was cold and it was pouring rain.
Oh man!
And his dad had told him one time, he's like, nobody cares how comfortable the announcer is. So, and he remembered that, so he just called the game. And somebody from like the Dodgers, or whatever, was at the game and had a transistor radio, was listening. And they were so impressed the fact that this guy was not just spending 3 hours bitching about how miserable the weather was. He was just actually calling the football game. That Vin thought that was one of the reasons he got interviewed for the Dodgers job.
Huh.
They're like, well, see, this is a guy that actually he understands the assignment. And the assignment is not to tell people that you're cold.
Yeah.
It's what's happening in the football game.
It's like his version of Bill Veeck sneaking the microphone into the broadcast booth while Harry Carey's singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Think about what a risk that was. Because of all the shit Harry and Jimmy might have said into that microphone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Actually, Bill probably was disappointed. That's probably why he had it there. And he's like, all he's doing is fucking singing. Why is he singing? You're supposed to be talking about the broads in left field.
Well, on the south side, there probably weren't any, but...
I forget what Jimmy... Jimmy has some famous... where he went off on the players' wives, called them a bunch of something broads. I don't remember what it was. He's quite a guy.
Can't get away with that today.
Now every time they go to the booth at Wrigley, Boog is showing his hand warmers. It is kind of funny though to be like, it's happened a few times already this year where like I've been sitting out on my patio and it's hot. Like I'm enjoying the beautiful, and then I have the iPad up and I'm watching the Cub game, and everybody in the Cub game is parkas on. It's like, oh,
right.
Oh, yeah.
You should move the team to Rockford. The weather's so much nicer here.
There you go.
I don't think
that A's game that Michael Barrett won in the had to be in the ninth. Freddie walked it off. It was a June. I remember. I thought it was the June or July, and it was cold.
Yeah.
Like up in the upper deck.
And I remember that day because I remember where I was. I was listening to it on the radio. I was working in my yard, and it was hotter than hell in Rockford. And not hotter than hell. It wasn't even in Rockford. I was in the little town I grew up at, 20 miles away. But I remember Pat must have been doing the complaining about the weather.
No,
because I'm listening to him like, how is it cold there? Like it's 60 miles away. But I mean, you park a big lake next to it. I knew that when I moved to Traverse City, how much the lake can affect the weather.
He finally got tired of Ron giving him shit about the ugly sweater and decided to try and tough it out for a day, and it was cold that day.
Oh, I had a Ron Santo moment today with one of the dogs. So I have only one of the dogs plays fetch, which is probably good because they end up fighting over the ball. It's the little schnauzer. And she's really good at it. So I can throw like nice high pop-ups, and she gets positioned under it, lets it bounce. She learned don't try to catch it out of the air. She lets it bounce. So I threw one, and as she turned, you could tell she lost it in the sun because she actually flinched. She like turned her whole head, and the ball hit her. It didn't hurt her, but I went, oh no! She didn't appreciate it as much as I did. I was like, all right, Quinn, let me tell you about this player named Brant Brown. It's almost exactly what happened. She looked up like, I'm going to catch it, and then you could just see her like, oh no! And boom, bonked her in the head.
If that's a sign of anything, it means the Cubs are going to stay right in the same playoff position that they are through the end of the season, just like in '98 after that. No,
it means Andy's dog is going to stay in the same playoff position.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Yeah.
Well, there is no play-in game anymore. So, if it happens at the last weekend and you end up tied, you got to just go to the stupid. I don't understand that. Baseball created the stupid wild card series just to try to recreate the drama of Game 162. And I talked about this. Dave agreed with this. So I figure it must be a halfway decent idea. I get it. If 3 or 4 teams tie, you don't have enough time to play all that stuff off. That's when I think they should use the tiebreakers just to get it down to 2 teams.
Yeah.
And then they should play. And that's your penalty for tying is you have to play on the Monday, and then you have to get your ass to wherever and play again on Tuesday and start that series. They just took them away from us, which I don't understand because some of those were really good. The Cubs played in a fun one.
And if you have 4 teams tie for the second playoff spot, then like that's seriously more than half the league.
Yeah. I mean, it would be
That's
pointless
9 teams. Yeah.
to do that. But you've got your little tiebreaker thing. I think the tiebreaker should be designed to set up a game,
Yes, yeah. No, I know what
not
you're saying.
to
Yeah.
just throw
Yeah.
somebody in the playoffs and make travel easier for the. Yeah, we ended up with a form of it last year when the Mets and Braves had to make up that doubleheader. But then you ended up with the weird thing where if they both won a game, they both went. So the Mets won game 1, they had a big comeback, and Lindor at the home run. And then the Mets were just like, who gives a shit in the second game? So
which is sort of unfair. Like, I mean, it's not like the Mets weren't trying to win the second game, but still.
Yeah, the
like
little Diamondbacks were like hanging out at the airport, waiting to see if they were going to go somewhere. And all they did was get back in their car and go home.
Yeah, I guess you would, like I said, even if you played the game with integrity, you wouldn't be using your best relievers. Like you're leaving.
Yeah, you got to get ready. You got a game tomorrow. You got a playoff game tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right. So,
right.
Yeah, that's just how it was going to happen. But.
And not only that, but teams don't like. And I guess part of the point that I was making is that you're just not going to have 4 teams tying for the last playoff spot.
It's gone close a couple of times.
To that many teams?
Like when the Cubs on Rossi's last year.
Okay.
Like.
Yeah, they were a game back of the Diamondbacks.
And then there was a team game behind them, I think. So if it breaks right in the last week, odds are it's not going to. You're right. You're going to end up with a team or 2.
Right.
But one of these years, it all is going to happen. And then you're just going to have the stupid, like everybody looking at the chart to figure out who who gets in and who doesn't.
Still, with that many teams, you could still wind up with a bunch of ties.
I do want to say, too, that like 2023, they officially got eliminated the second to last night of the season. And I think the next day they just put out a B lineup and didn't really care about winning because their season was over. But if they had won, it would have been by the tiebreaker. Them and the Diamondbacks would have finished with the same record.
Right. So which is why the Cubs ended up. They only finished a game behind them, right? The Diamondbacks lose the last day too because they were in. They didn't have to worry about it.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, it changes the last 2 days of the season because the Cubs didn't have the tiebreaker and they were done. Whereas if there was no tiebreaker, but if you tied, you played that team again, they were just going to go back to Arizona and get beat again. But what the hell? Maybe Dansby would still forget you could catch a line drive off a pitcher's ass.
Oh,
the guy would be out.
That might be the most painful loss of that of that whole stretch for me. Like more so than any of the Braves games.
Just remember looking at it like, why did you let it drop? Yeah. Why would you do that? I don't understand. Dave Owen knew better. You didn't see him letting it drop when Pete Rose bounced one off Lee Smith's ass. He caught it right out of the air.
Is that the infamous like Harry call of like, what a lucky break, the good Lord wants the Cubs to win?
Yep.
Yeah.
So when we were doing I was looking for clips to play at the beginning of the Remember This Crap on the shortstops, and I said, I was really hoping I could find the Larry Boa one where Harry, we was wearing glasses, and Harry's like, "Oh, I bet the ball looks like a beach ball now." But instead, what I found was Harry going nuts. And if you see the video is on the post that goes with the podcast. So the Cubs are clinging to a 1-run lead in St. Louis, and Keith Hernandez is batting. And he gets jammed. There must be one out. There's a runner. There's at least a runner at second, probably a runner at first. And Keith gets jammed, and Larry runs over, and the ball is just hovering like 6 feet in the air, which he had to jump for. And he jumps, and he catches it, and he steps on the bag to end the game. It's a double play. Line drive, he catches it, steps on the bag, and the game's over. And Harry goes nuts, like they had won the pennant. Well, if Keith Hernandez is there, that's 83, right? Not 84. And so this Cubs are bad. It just showed how much Harry hated the Cardinals so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Any game, he would get so mad if the Cubs would lose the Cardinals. He got so excited that Larry caught that ball to end the game. It's like, Jesus, Harry. Calm down. But it was pretty good.
I did appreciate you mentioning George Hedrick on the...
wearing his helmet?
Yeah.
The one I couldn't find that I really thought I could find because I felt like I've heard it so many times is the Ray Sanchez one where the guy hits a pop up and Ray gets under it and Harry goes, "Don't worry, he's never dropped one of these in his life," and he drops it. And Harry laughs so hard when he drops the ball.
I meant to look this up. Did you say Ray Sanchez played with the Cubs for 7 years?
7 years.
Whew.
He started a couple of years at short. He started a couple of years at second. He was just a bench guy for a while.
Wow.
He was there a long time. Played 15 years in the big leagues. I liked Huey's story about his buddy being on the cruise and Ray brought his girlfriend.
Yeah.
not his wife. He brought his girlfriend.
Yes. Man.
But they also had Rey Ordonez, right?
They did. Remember Ray?
Yeah.
He made 2 errors in a game and cried. And then cut him. This guy who had been this amazing defensive shortstop early in his career, like one of the greatest ever. He just made incredible plays. He wasn't that anymore by the when the Cubs got him.
Yeah.
And he just I think that's why he was so distraught. He made the errors and he was upset. I think he knew it was over.
Yeah, right.
Is why he was crying. He wasn't like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I lost this game for the Cubs." He's like, "Holy fuck, I can't make these plays for the Cubs. My career is over."
I'll tell you this. The one great moment I do remember with Rey Ordonez, and it was, I was 10 years old at the time, but I was a Cubs fan living on the South Side, and all my Sox fan friends, I think he hit like a home run against the White Sox, and remember just saying like, "Oh, our Ordonez is better than your Ordonez."
That was close.
Yeah.
It was close.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Ooh, what'd I do?
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Many of us have herpes.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
It's fitting. It's got to be done with one of the best games of all time. Just unbelievable. I mean, got to congratulate the Dolan family.
Sean, my podcast co-host Andy, you were his favorite player growing up.
Oh, thank you so much. Awesome.